So we've got an article made about our one of our Trax News members, and she got this image here. Two countries, similar system. George Floyd, African American, suspected $20 counter bill, killed by U.S. police, and you've got this Aid al-Halak. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Suspected for his cell phone being a gun, he was killed by Israeli police. Well, there is a similarity in the conflict where in the United States we're having a Palestinian-Israeli type of conflict, even though we're not really fighting over land, which would have been at least a logical reason of something to fight over. Here we're having this conflict in the streets where we don't want to live with one another anymore, right? Half the country doesn't want to live with the other half of the country. And we've got it in our blood to hate and be angry, just like they do in the Middle East or just like they do in Israel and Palestine or what have you, whatever you want to call it. So this young man, this is his mother. This picture says it all. She's sobbing. Her life was not easy. He was her only son. Maybe he was autistic or something like that, it says. And Palestinian with autism, yeah. And, the poor guy, he died a brutal death, I'm sure, and it's tragic. So, in this conflict over there, of course, people are fighting over a piece of land. I was here first. I was here before you. This is mine. This is yours. They're abusing and treating each other with violence. The Israeli police, are they being abusive to the people? You bet they are. Because they are in a very, very miserable situation, everybody, and it's a conflict. It's a conflict I don't really have a solution for. Not a lot of people do. People want to be you got to invest and increase quality of life. So what you got to do over here for, instead of having George Floyd struggling out there with a $20 counterfeit bill, nobody could have gave him some sort of meaningful employment that would make him happy and give him a chance at life. They didn't want to do that. Instead, the millions and billions that they spent on the riots and all the insurance money, all this, if they just invested in these people's lives that are all in trouble, they would have avoided those millions and billions. But this country don't have the fucking sense to do that. They rather put out fires and defund police rather than give people a chance. They're fucking retarded. Now, when it comes to Israel and Palestine, it's a bitter conflict. It's something I don't want to have even a part of. But, I hope that these people find their way and find a way to coexist, because they're going to have to. When it comes to land, it's all about right of conquest. That's who owns it. Who owns something? There's I was here first, you were here second. All that shit really goes out the window. It's brute force, and that's what you're seeing here, and it's tragic. Boris, you had something to say about this?
Yeah, so Faiza at Sisexco, she is the one who made this article, and one thing that she puts in the article is the comparison between Israeli police and security forces and the American security forces. She found out through her research that a lot of American police departments are trained by Israeli security forces, by the Israeli police, and vice versa. So this is a sort of, in her perspective, it seems like, Israel and the way that Israel does things is sort of has historically been influencing American police brutality. And that's sort of, I guess, a theme or a connotation that I got from reading her article. You could read it for yourself, and maybe you'll get a different connotation. But one thing that I would disagree with that a little bit on is I would just say that America supplies Israel with funds. It's a disproportional relationship. I believe that America has a lot of influence on Israeli policy and stuff like that. So if whatever's going on in Israel, how Israel is treating Palestinians and stuff like that is done by the tacit acceptance of America. And that's just something, it's not Israel necessarily impacting America's police force, because America makes policy for Israel as well. So I think it's, they're allies. It goes both ways with them.
Good luck to all of them. That's all I can say.